Greetings, Commanders. My name is Eagle, and today we're back again with another Kiss of War video. In this video, we're gonna show you guys how to create a farm account and how to get the best value out of it in your main account in regarding to the question we left in the last video. So if you like these types of videos where we give you daily tips and tricks and guides on how to play the game and excel in your development in Kiss of War, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video for more daily content of Kiss of War, as we are in the official content creation team of Kiss of War. So in this video, we'll be discussing the topics of how much time and effort should you spend on your farm account, and as well as the officers you need to be upgrading, their talents, as well as the buildings and research technology that you need to focus on, whether you want to invest money in this account or not, and how to protect your farm account from potential attacks that will be happening throughout the game, and finally, how to play and utilize the farm account during events. As you can see, today we are on my farm account. It's almost 4 million power. However, I didn't really invest that much time in my farm account. So if we move to the first step that I would love to give you guys is to actually create your farm account the moment you start the server. So if you start the server today, you should create a farm account right now and then, because the amount of value the farm account actually gives you is huge. You'll be getting double, even more than you would actually get on one account, which is your main account. So creating a farm account early would help you a lot in deciding what you want to do with it in the late game, as well as giving you all the extra resources throughout the game to grow faster, especially as a free-to-play player. If you are a big spender or a whale in this game, which I like to refer to, it's still recommended to actually get a farm account, because you don't want to be spending on resource packages, because this would give you like free resources in a little time spent on it. So I highly recommend creating your farm account the moment you start the server. So moving on to the first step, or the first topic that I want to talk to you about, is why would you spend time creating a farm account if it takes so much time to actually take care of your main account? Well, think about this. Sending your gatherers out, how much time does it actually take? It takes about 60 seconds to send 4 or 5 marches out to gather. So it's actually super easy to find the gathering nodes or tiles and then sending your troops. So the actual amount of daily time you're spending on your farm account is about 10 to 20 minutes, depends on how much active you are. So getting back to the value that this account can bring you, it's actually pretty much worth it, because you're not spending that much time on this account to actually grow it and develop it. So it's super valuable to actually create this account, and you're getting double the resources, even more than that, in return. So we will start first in explaining how much do you want to invest in your farm account, and by that I mean to which level you want to get your HQ to. If we look over here on the HQ, it would show us how much marching queues we can actually dispatch from it. So if we look at level 11, we switch from 2 marching queues to 3 marching queues, which is the bare minimum of what I would recommend getting your farm account to. So level 11 HQ is the level that you will be targeting if you really don't have the time to get your farm account going and only have the time to send 3 marches per day, or several times per day. So this is basically the bare minimum you can get to. It levels, you can get another marching queue at level 17, which is a moderate time, I would say. If you have moderate time per day, you can actually go for that. Currently, we are at level 21. and I'm aiming for level 22, which is basically when you can get the maximum amount of marching queues dispatch, which is 5, and you get the sweet tier 4s at level 21 as well. So this is my aim as well, to get it to unlock tier 4s and produce them in this account, because simply I'm not just using it as a farm account, I'm using it as a war account later on in the game. This is the plans that I'm actually having for it later on in the game. So basically, the buildings that you need to focus on, so starting with the HQ, it's very important to level up your HQ, because otherwise, if you don't level it up, you will be limited with the level of HQ, because your other buildings are limited by the maximum level of HQ. So now we have HQ 21, so I can level everything up to HQ 21, and as you can see here, that I have some buildings that are already HQ 21. So the buildings that you need to focus on is basically starting off with the most simple and basic are the production buildings. So the production buildings will give you resources over time, and this is mainly what you need to be focusing on, because this way you will be gaining passive resources without, even if you didn't have that much time to actually send out your marchers, you're still gaining resources from those buildings, which will help you in developing the actual farm itself and gaining more resources to your main account. So I would highly recommend putting some effort in these buildings over here, and you will gain their value, the amount of resources that you spend on them over the next months. So it will take a couple of months till you get the value of resources that you spend on them, and then you will start getting pure profits out of these buildings. So this is very recommended for you guys. So moving on to the next building, is basically what I wanted to talk about is actually the garage. So the garage over here is a very extraordinary building, because what it does is basically it gives you, you can repair your troops, an amount of your troops if they get attacked. So for example, if it's kill event and you are trying to gather outside, which I don't recommend on kill event, your troops might get attacked, and if you don't have, or even your farm might get attacked, like the base. So if you don't have a high capacity, your troops will die and you won't get them back. So the garage is a very important building to focus on as well when you are trying to build a farm account. Currently I'm running, so I have a total units of about 600,000, which is a lot, and my garage capacity is 100, so it's super low. What I need to be working on is actually upgrading my garages over here, but I've been too busy the other days to get my resources buildings up. This is a fairly new farm account, so I'm still, I still haven't invested so much time in it actually. Moving on to the third building that I want to mention is basically the storehouse. The storehouse is an extremely important building, because it protects a certain amount of the resources once you level it up. Another building that I really want to mention is basically the storehouse. The storehouse is basically a building that protects a certain amount of your resources from plundering when you level it up. So leveling this building up will basically mean that the amount of plunderable resources in your city will be higher. That means you'll be less of a target if you were to be attacked. So currently in this in my zone over here on my server, we have a no base attacking rule, so nobody can actually attack bases even in kill event. But in other servers that are more hostile and more potentially to be attacked, or you're more potential to be attacked or raided, I would highly recommend leveling up the storehouse as well as the garage, because this way you'll be less of a target when you have no resources to actually be plundered. So yeah, moving on to the next topic, which is basically how to transfer your resources or your gathered resources into your main account, which is a very important topic actually, because currently in the game there's only one way to do that, which is attacking your farm account by your main account. So how you actually can do that is moving out all your troops outside the farm account, so that you will make sure you're not killing your own troops in the farm account. And in this case, I can actually I still can't actually move all my troops. I still need a fifth march to do that. This is why it's very important to not build that many troops as I did right now. But that's fine because currently I have different plans for my farm account. But as I said, at this stage, what you need to is get out, like put out all your troops outside and then attack it multiple times until you get all the resources you need in your main account. So this is the only way to actually transfer the resources from your farm to your main account. Another thing worth mentioning, when you actually do that, you don't want to be leveling up your defense turret over here. We were at war at some point, so this is why I actually leveled up my defense turret to level 5. But if you are in a more peaceful zone, you won't really care about this defense turret, because once you try to attack your main account, your farm account with your main account, you'll be losing some amount of troops if this defense turret is actually leveled up too high. So you don't want to be losing troops, especially if they are higher tiers. So yeah, this is very important as well. And basically, what you need to do is teleport your farm account right next to your main account. Currently, I'm not in the guild because we are doing some expansions, but usually I'm in the main guild, is VDR, which is, we are currently the #1 guild in the server. So what you need to do is move it right next to it so that your your distance would be easier, and you can actually protect it later on if whatever attack happens during that period. And moving and talking about which is how to actually protect your base from being plundered. So there are mainly 3 ways actually to do that. One way is very simple, is leave no resources in your base. And you can do that by either just like giving like attacking your farm account by your main account, taking all the resources out, or you can do that by building buildings, upgrading tech over here, or what I recommend highly is going to the railway station and getting these resource packages over here. So these resource packages, what they do is that they give you some amount of resources for free. So over here, we're actually getting 30k steel for free just by clicking this. This way, you are turning your resources into resource items over here, or resource packs, which means that they are protected and they are not visible. As you can see, as my oil, I have 16 million oil, so I'm a huge target right now. But this won't obviously happen because we are in peace right now with the kingdom. So otherwise, what you need to do is my second way to protect your farm account is actually putting your troops in a nearby tower. So when you put your troops in a nearby ally tower, this is not VTR because currently I'm not in VTR, but if you put your troops in a nearby tower that you know won't be attacked during Kilovit or during the war, this way is that you are actually hiding your troops in that tower, and without troops and resources, a base is just useless to be attacked. Even if they attack you, they won't get a thing and you won't lose a thing, so that's totally fine. This is another way to avoid being attacked. And the third way is that if you think that you are going AFK and be afraid of actually being attacked, what I would recommend is actually investing in some officers that are for defense, especially against swarming. This is because I'm not really worried about being rallied in a farm account, because that is very highly unlikely to happen. Usually what will happen is that your base would get swarmed in a farm account. So what you need to do is put anti-swarm officers. For example, like Grace over here, she is a phenomenal anti-swarm defense officer. And what I would go for is max out her defense. Exactly the opposite of what I'm doing right here. So max out her defense tree first, and then max out put more points in her garrison tree. So this is basically what I would use her for, and of course max out her first ability because it's phenomenal. The secondary commander, what I would recommend, or secondary commanders for defense, is basically Maria. She is a great free-to-player friendly defender that I still haven't really invested in her because I'm trying to invest more in my officers, my other officers, especially the gathering ones. So I would invest in Maria next for defense, or Jessica. However, as I said, if you are trying to invest in a legendary commander, then you should invest with Grace because she is great at defense against swarming. because otherwise because you want this account to be as free to player friendly as possible. So I would invest in Grace and then Maria. Moving on to the topic, which is basically the officers, right? Because as we said, we want this account to be utilized as possible. So what I recommend doing is investing in your rare tier officers at first, and then your epic tier officers, and then your legendary. Of course, we are talking about the gathering officers over here. So I would invest firstly in Jean and Marjorie, then in Evelyn, and lastly in Angel. What you need to do is actually max out their gathering master or gathering skill over here. And I will leave a card at the top where we actually gave a comprehensive full guide about gathering and gathering talents and officers, where we explained everything in details over there. So you might want to watch that video as well if you want more details about officers and how their talents work. But in short, so what you need to do over here is that to max out the gathering tree, reach gathering master to get that sweet 25%, and basically move on to the next officer. As you can see, we have maxed out already 2 officers, maxed out Evelyn as well, and we are on our way to max out Angel to put her at level 40. So this was about the officers right now. Let's see. So I've covered so much ground so far. And another thing is that very important is actually where to invest your resources or where to focus your resources on when you are trying to level up this account. One main thing that I would focus my resources on is basically the economy tech tree. The economy tech tree should be your main focus, and you should definitely max out all the gathering, all the research that are gathering boost related. So you need to max out everything that is over here. I wouldn't highly invest in these 2 over here because this farm account is like, it's irrelevant how much time you want to actually construct a building or construct a research or research a research, because simply you're not going for tier 5s or very high research in the military, which usually take a lot of time. However, in the economy, the researchers usually take more resources, however, less amount of time to actually research. So I would highly encourage you guys to research resource gathering over here because it gives you a global gathering speed for all your resources. So what you need to be doing, as we said, is to focus on the resource gathering boosts. The military tree is not super important. I would myself, like currently I'm investing just a little bit over here just to unlock tier 4s. Because I will be using this account later on for military purposes. However, if you guys are not planning to do this, then I wouldn't highly recommend doing that. I would just focus more on the economy tree, which is currently what I'm doing right now. And yeah, basically that would be one of the ways that I would invest my resources in. Another way is technically the production tree, the production buildings over here, storehouse, and the garage as well. Yeah, this is basically about the resources. So if we talk more if you want to go more in details about the badges over here and how you can max out your officers real quick, is basically if we look at the events right now, at the activities, there's a current event which is basically Eternal Roma, and it will. If you go to Angel Awakened over here, go all the way down there, you can see the Elite Officer badge, which will give you 5 badges for one of these, which is a huge investment. So this will actually help you max out these officers as soon as possible, which is fine. However, I wouldn't super recommend it. I would recommend actually investing in more other things, for example, like elite officer badges or whatnot, if you want to invest in some defense officers or other officers. So one trick over here to save time when you're trying to gather is basically save up your troops that you want to gather with. So for example, if I'm trying to gather with what I would recommend over here is that to send out, because now I can send 4 marchers, right? So what I would recommend is send out always the primary officer as a gatherer and the secondary officer as any normal other officer, because this way you would gain the most gathering boost, unless you are trying to send like an overnight march to a guild depot. This only in that case I would send 2 gathering officers together to that depot so that you can maximize your gathering overnight, because it's irrelevant if you want to gather a tile overnight, because it will be done in like 2 hours and then 6 hours idle officers. So only in the case of gathering from a depot, I would send 2 gathering officers together as primary and secondary. Otherwise, I would send always primary gathering officer and a secondary normal officer, and I would save those as a pre-saved like officer combination, so that it's much faster and I spend less time on that as well. Another thing that I really want to talk about over here is the troops. Should I or should you actually invest and which tiers of troops should you use, first of all, and should you keep producing troops all the time? Me personally, I'm producing troops right now in big numbers because, as I said, I want to use this for a war later on. However, I would recommend using only tier 1 artilleries because they are the fastest, and the difference between tier 1 and tier 2 artilleries in terms of load is irrelevant. It's like 2 load, and however, tier 1 artilleries are super fast. So what I would recommend is upgrading a hell lot of tier 1 artilleries. As you can see, I have 135k of tier 1 artilleries, and focusing on those guys. For the long run, if you are not, if you don't want this account to be in to fight in any term of war or events, then that's fine. You can stop when you have like about 500k troops or artilleries, and that's more than enough to actually gather your daily gathering or fulfill your daily gathering needs. However, if you have other plans for this account, I would recommend commencing on producing daily troops, because it could help in wars later on, especially in server event, which could be coming in the soon future. For action points and invaders, which is my next topic, if you can see over here in the action points, I have a lot of action points to spend because I'm in the main VTR alliance. So from the alliance gives, you can see that I have so much action points that I don't know where to spend them. However, what you can do with the action points is, which is I think is a very important tip, is basically lead rallies with your farm account to kill behemoths around the map, which I can't seem to find any behemoths right now, which is weird. Yeah, so basically what you need to do is kill behemoths around the map, and you will get the resource boxes over here of the good rarity, which you can actually use to then farm from your main account. So you use these to actually increase your resource count and then farm them and use them in your main account. I used that a couple of times, especially in times of war, because you would need a hell lot of resources to heal up your troops fast and actually produce more troops. So this is one tip that I would use. And more or less, I would use my AP as well in events such as Trial of Heroes, where you can actually get Evelyn shards or Evelyn badges. And I would use them in more events that would give me rewards for spending action points or killing invaders as well. So I would definitely use action points for that, which will help me increase my officers levels. As you can see, I maxed these out really quickly and excel and get actually more resources into the account to use them to develop the farm further and benefit from these resources in my main account as well. So we covered a lot of ground so far, but we still have a couple of small things that we need to mention. Basically, having your resources as resource tokens is super important, as we said before, because as you can see, I have a lot of resource tokens over here, and this is why, this is one of the main reasons that it prevents people from attacking me, because these resources are hidden and I can only use them when I need them, either to farm the account or to develop something like a tech, like a research or whatnot. Now moving on to another topic, which is basically your speedups. When do you use your speedups, and when are they? There they are, and how important is it to use them? As you can see, I have a lot of speedups as well. So I have a lot of speedups over here. And when do I use these speedups is basically when events come up. For example, Mightiest Governor is coming up on the doors in one day. So I would actually use some speedups to increase my unit production over there, as well as increase my tech production or even the buildings, especially the production buildings. I think it's a good way to speed up your production buildings construction, because it's basically what you're doing is that you're gaining more resource production faster, which is kind of an inefficient way to do that. However, it's fine because, you know, your biggest goal over here is not to unlock tier 5s in this account. You're just like maximum you're going to unlock tier 4s and then focus more on the economy research. So spending speed ups in this account is actually irrelevant and not super great. So the things that you would focus on to gain the best value is spending speed ups on things that are giving you rewards and events, which could help you get like better resources or even better rewards for your officers and whatnot. So this is the only time I would actually spend speed ups on this account. And finally is basically the thing that I want to talk about is, should you spend money on this account? Should you or should you not? So what I've actually spent is basically just one package on this account, or actually a couple, but like what I would recommend highly is to get this outfit for Linda. It's actually a package that is available in the once you play the game, like in the first phase of the game. So what it helps you is actually it gives you like a 30% construction speed up, which means that you can free up the production when it's about 35 minutes. This actually helps you or gives you a huge boost, especially in the beginning when you're trying to boost the account faster. So this is my only recommendation to get to spend money on this account. If you were to spend extra money on this account, I would definitely go for Catherine. As you can see over here in the VIP exclusive offers, you can get Catherine badges, which I think she is phenomenal. However, I won't go all the way to actually get Catherine to max her out. I would only, if I were to spend, I would only get her first skill, the active one, max it out, and that's it, because she will become a beast after that, technically, so you won't need to actually invest in her more, and she can help you either by killing invaders and being your main jungler, or in events that could actually help your guild potentially later on, for example, like Ghost Rebels or any other further events that involve invaders and PvEs. So this is basically the only two things that I would spend money on, and which I highly, as well as I said, this account should be as free to play as possible. So I wouldn't really recommend those. It's just that if you were to spend them and want to actually accelerate a little bit further, then there you go. So if you guys, so basically this is all that I wanted to talk about during the farm account. This is a bit of a long video. And it's taken a bit of time to do and produce. I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you think that I left anything or any tip that you'd like to give to others, please make sure to leave it in the comments as well, so that everyone could actually benefit from it. Thank you again, guys, for watching this video. And if you like these type of videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. And see you on the next one. Bye bye.